Welcome to today's episode of Property Focus, where we delve into the world of construction and housing. In today's show, we'll be exploring the fascinating world of residential projects which are affordable. So join us as we learn everything you need to know about construction of units and building residential apartments as we look at these studio and one-bedroom units that are in the market. Let's get into it. Welcome to the show.
Well, hello family, and welcome to another exceptional episode of Property Focus. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a delightful one for you. Studio units, one-bedroom units are up for sale at 1.6 million and 2.6 million. Our first stop, let's check out the studio unit. Come along. And here we are. Now, welcome to this cozy studio unit. Here you've got this door right over here. It's charming and quite comfortable. You've got your kitchenette area over here, sink provision over here, cabinetry which is in black on the left. On my right, you've got your bathroom / water closet area, powder area, provision for an awning window on this side. Tiles are in white with grey veins. Wooden door right over here. And on my right, you get into the living spaces of the studio unit. So you've got your wardrobes right over here, very sleek, modern handled, slender, minimalist. It's a very nice, cozy space. If you're in university, starting out in life, or you want to just get a hand on your real estate journey, this is what you need to invest in. So you've got ceramic floors, and what I appreciate about this is that you have a balcony space outside when you just want some air, and it's got a drainage right over there. Quite spacious. You could walk in and out, about 3 feet on this side, so it's quite beautiful. Coming back into this area, let's go have a look at the one-bedroom unit. Now, leaving the studio unit into the one-bedroom apartment for those who are looking for a bit more privacy, let's see what they have to offer here at 127 Imela. Come along. So, already you get to see the place is just filled with a sufficient amount of light. You've got all these large windows making the space feel airy and quite nice. On this other side, right behind you, you've got this vanity area, black granite, black cabinetry, sink provision, cabinets down there, provision for your cooker, provision for your fridge, black backsplash, which looks amazing, and you've got your awning window provision on that section. Come along to this section, you've got the bathroom, which is still being constructed right now. They're constructing this site, so a lot of things are still being done, but you can sort of get a feel of what the place is going to look like. So that's the common powder room right over there into the bedroom unit. So you have this area, still a lot of light coming in. Views are good. There's a few developments, meaning the area is picking up. Looks amazing. Love the wardrobes right over here. Got a bit of a beige wood-like sort of feel, and it's roomy, minimalist handles which are in black, which looks exquisite. Ceramic tiles on the floor, which looks good. Muted tones with this particular apartment. Once again, this unit is going for 2.6 million, and there are only 5 left. So call that number to get yourself a unit right over here at 127 Imela, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have a conversation in just a moment with the developer of this site, and also have a chat with a banker to just find out a little bit more about construction mortgages. Stay tuned.
Hey, Peter.
How are you doing?
No bad.
Super.
Happy to have you.
Good.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thanks again for coming here today. My name is Alan Motuma, and I am the team leader of Brown Cap Developers, the developer behind 127 Imela Apartments that is situated along the Northern Bypass, about 500 meters away from the Kenyatta University Referral and Teaching Hospital. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Now, what informed your decision on this particular location here?
Yeah, 2 things really stood out for this location. One was the proximity to demand drivers around this place. We are just 500 meters away from the Kenyatta University Teaching Referral Hospital, and then we are just 2 kilometers away from Tatu City. So there are very strong demand drivers for housing within this particular location. And then the availability of land to partner with a joint venture landowner who was willing to allow us to be able to invest with him in this particular portion.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How many units do you have here?
We currently have 70 units,
Okay.
35 studios and 35 one-bedroom units. And the pricing for those particular studios is 1.6 million. And for the one bedroom, it's 2.6 million shillings. Not many buildings here have the amenities that we're offering. They might sound basic, but they are very instrumental for tenants. One, we have sufficient parking on the premises. Two, the quality of finishes that we've offered in this particular development is what you wouldn't find within this area. And then three, we've also incorporated green spaces within the building itself, which then allows for the people who will be living here to have a much more better well-being in terms of how they will be living and also interacting with the spaces within this particular development.
Interesting.
Yes.
Anything that you'd like to share exclusively to any of our viewers who are watching the show right now?
Yes, absolutely. So Brown Cap Developers has been constituted as a passive income portfolio platform, which allows investors to incrementally build their housing portfolios through very favorable investment installment plans. This is the first project that we've done, and we're about to launch the second project in Kitisuru. It's called 127 Kaya. It's going to be a 60-unit development, still comprising 1 beds and 2 beds. The studios will be priced at 2.2 million shillings, and the 1 beds will be priced at 3.6 million shillings. And we'll be happy to have your viewers and your network to be able to invest in that particular property. Investment activity is rife, both from the developer side and from the customer side. We have partnered with ABSA with this particular project. They are our primary bankers, and they also have a scheme going on with Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company for the buyers. And so they encourage buyers to reach out to ABSA to try and see whether they can secure a KMRC loan to purchase the property, but also allow developers to engage with ABSA to see what sort of partnerships they can be able to have with them.
Hi, my name is Caleb Thuku. I'm an architect at Catalysis Design Group. We were tasked by our client, Brown Cap Developers Limited, to do an undertaking on this project. It's located in KM, just next to Kenyatta University. Our scope was to do a master plan on this site. It's a quarter plus an eighth. So the first phase was to do the development, which we are looking at right now. It sits on a quarter. We managed to get 35 one-bedroom units and 35 studio units distributed on 5 levels with amenities, parking, a lot of garden spaces, recreation spaces at the rooftop, and other servant spaces like hanging lines, laundry areas and whatnot. Now, the reason why the client went for this route in terms of development was that they are into developing real estate that is curated for investors. And the key thing for them is, number one, the units have to be affordable so that you are able to get off-takers who will partly finance the project. But most importantly, what the developer sells to his clients is the return. So we had to work hard to make sure that the building and the spaces are curated to maximize on the returns. So what we employed, number one, was we ensured we have adequately sized spaces, unique plan designs, and above all, we made sure the building stands out from the neighborhood so that in a sense it's kind of a landmark, neighborhood defining, just to differentiate it from the rest of the developments. This in turn helps the investors to get a better return on investment compared to similar developments in the area. The idea for the facade, number one, is you will realize in Nairobi and its metropolitan area, there is a trend where most developers or developments tend towards brown and the pastels, yeah. And there's a good reason for that, because it's a color that hides dirt and it ages better. But we decided just to be a bit daring, and one of the best ways to do that is to have elements that create contrast on a facade. So number one, we employed a dark color which is gray, then with black as so grey is the base color. Then we have a black as a highlight. Then just to pop some color and to create good contrast, we highlighted our balconies with white, so that as a composition it stands out from the neighborhood. We are confident that this color scheme will age well, even with the building facing the eastern sun and the western sun. So that was a factor even as we were designing, so that we are able to, because most of the times you find good architecture is only measured after a long period of time. So how it ages is quite important, and how you future-proof it from finishes all the way to use is also very important.
Here's the thing about us. We're all more than just one thing. Like Grace here. All her students call her Teacher Grace. When she is not at work, she is not afraid to try new things. Yenyewe, maisha ni kujaribu tu. Na ikifika wikendi, anaitwa Gracie Teke Teke because she is quick on her feet and a trendsetter. Lakini pale home, she is Mama Toto or just Mommy. Na isitoshe, yeye ni CS wa Home Affairs. That's why we offer every kind of financial solution for every kind of you.
Super. Hey, Elijah, how you doing?
Hi, PJ.
Good, boss. You're
yeah,
well?
I'm well, and you?
Wonderful. Good,
Yeah,
good.
nice to see you.
As well.
Okay.
We're here for construction mortgages.
Yes, we
Learn
are.
a bit more about that.
Yes.
How does a construction mortgage differ from a normal traditional mortgage?
You will find they are segmented, and you will find there is a construction for your own house or your own home, and then there is a construction for rental purposes. Like if you want to be a landlord, you want to do construction, multiple units so that you can allow people to come in and rent. Mm-hmm. On that one, we normally target the landlords because you'll become a landlord, and we give it under our business mortgages. And then you will also find there is the construction to sell. That comes under our offering under construction project financing. The baseline for us is where are you constructing? In the sense that we desire that that is within municipalities for the purposes of value, so that you're able to create more value in those constructions. The second thing is how much will it cost you? And this brings us to the bill of quantities document that captures the costing of the construction. So we want to see how much it will cost you to construct this particular house. And then the other third key thing that we look at is the size of the house you're constructing. So those three are fundamentals for us when it comes to construction, because with the cost of construction against the size of the house, we are able to see, is that cost realistic? Are you underpricing? Are you overpricing your construction? And then once we have those three covered, in terms of where you're building, the cost of construction and the size of the house, then we are good to go to look at every other thing. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of interest rates, are they higher? Are they the same? Speak into that.
Interest rate is basically the same if you're purchasing or if you're constructing. So there's no difference in that parameter. In terms of the period, there is a difference. As you know, construction is there is a way that you will say, I want to construct in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, but things happen in between and the construction period can be longer. So because of that, we have a reduced period for construction, because the period that we are talking about is where you're servicing the interest and the principal of the loan. But during construction period, you only service interest. So that is not counted as a period for repayment. So because of those eventualities and whatever happens, we have a situation where we reduce the actual principal and interest period, and then we give you like 9 months. Our ideal time is 9 months for you to construct your house. So because of that, you'll find there's a difference between the construction period and the straight purchase period. And the difference is normally we put a margin of 5 years in between the two.
What do you actually need before you get a construction loan? Or what are the KYC documents that you need?
Okay. Good question. We will look at, first of all, a bill of quantities, which is drawn by the quantity surveyor. It gives us the full costing of constructing that house. And this quantity surveyor must be someone of repute. We are looking at somebody who has experience, done like 5 years and above in the industry, has a CV that shows the previous works they have done. Then the other thing we look at is the building plans. We need to see the building plans that have been approved by the county government. So that building plan is drawn by the architect. They must have their registration on spot, they must be current, so that we know we are dealing with an architect who is still eligible to do this work. And the same parameters apply for him, the same qualifiers. He must be an experienced one, he must have his project that is done before. And then the other document that you're looking at is we must have the approval from NCA. Yeah, NCA overlook the whole construction industry, so you must have a certification. What NCA does is that they look at the team that you're having in place. Then the other thing that we are looking at here is also whether you have insurance in place to cover you during the construction period. It's called Constructors All Risk Insurance. And that covers you against losses on site, indemnifies you against losses to the workers who are there on site and such things. So that also has to be in place. Then because construction is a little bit thorough, if you're building a bungalow, you are good in terms of your structure. You're not depending on, you're not having a superstructure where you have floors, but where you have multiple floors, then you need to have the structural engineer in place who will draw the structural drawings.
Very well answered. Very well answered.
Yes.
Now, in terms of collateral, I understand when you take a loan, that is very important.
Yes.
What then is the collateral in the case of a construction mortgage?
Not so different, honestly, from a purchase case. We need the title in place, and then we also need you to be covered as the borrower in terms of your life. Then, as I mentioned before, you need the CARIC insurance, but also when the house is done, CARIC insurance gets off the discussion. Now you have to get a cover for your property now. So those three are serious collateral that are required so that we can have proper coverage of the security we are taking. Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are some of the benefits of a construction mortgage?
Construction mortgage, I will tie it to construction, of course, and the benefits are similar. First of all, you will find that because of the nature that construction gives you savings on how you source for your materials, how you negotiate with your contractor, your QS, your architect, your engineer, you're able to get savings there, which then translates to you borrowing less. Okay, so in that sense, you'll find somebody who has who owns a house that is 200 square meters by constructing for themselves, and somebody who's purchased a house of 200 square meters, you'll find there's a markup, there's a difference between the two in terms of the amount of loan they have come to borrow. So under construction, you'll find yourself borrowing less, and therefore that is an advantage to you. And then also you are able to control, everything on site in terms of the design of your house. You can get far much more through economies of scale. You can get to amend, the property. It's not cast in stone like when you're purchasing. So in that case, it becomes more advantageous for somebody who wants to construct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
what would you say the advantage is for the bank and the customer of taking a construction mortgage?
The advantage for the customer is less borrowing, and also the flexibility to build your house as you want. Okay. For the bank, it's just the pure pleasure of myself working with the customer through their construction, right from the beginning to right to the end. There is a joy that you get as a banker to be able to see a customer construct from the foundation to the end. Mm-hmm. So that for the bank, I think that is part of our agenda, to come closer to our communities, to come closer to our customers, and therefore be able to give them that solution.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Very well said, Elijah.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like I can trust you guys already.
You can.
Thank you very much.
You're much welcome.
Absolutely. Well, that was a delightful tour. Now, remember, if you want a studio unit or a one-bedroom unit, 127 Imela has got you covered. And if you want to buy more real estate, Property Focus has you covered. My name is Peter Ngigi. This has been absolutely delightful. Till next week, same place, same time. Goodbye.